Well, you know what? It's always the ambassador that leads us out. So there's a step-by-step guide. I think you wanted to talk to a little bit about the signing someone up and making them, understand how to put their link together, because we always assume that everybody's already at that step, but
Right.
we shouldn't assume, right? So let's walk them through that. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's pretend you've already sent your 3-minute video and you've already got them signed up. You've followed up. You've got them. You can either send them your link, or you can go into your back office and click Enroll New Guide. I typically send most people my link and trust them to do it. Some people, will give them Social Security and everything and want you to sign them up. But you do that through your back office. Once it's completed and you've signed them up, I typically take out my link is thenewulife.com/Emily Jackson. I will back that out and I will put their name in there. I make sure that when they are signing up, if I don't do it for them, in the replicated site text URL, I make sure that they put their name in lowercase, no spaces. So it's easy to find someone. The other way to send someone their link is to use their distributor representative number. So Kevin typically likes to use that. Am I right?
You are correct.
So
I think you sufficiently explained that.
Thank you. So you can just use the website and / and their ID number, and it will take, they can copy and paste it and share it with others. That way it's just easy for others to share. So I know we assume that everybody might know these quick little tidbits, but I guess we should go through them all.
Yes, and for any questions on that, and we do get them, we'll try to put that into, and as we said, the handbook's kind of the handbook is a living, breathing thing, so we'll certainly add that just to make sure everybody's got that down. Next on your list was medical claims and why we can't make them.
Yes.
So the FTC works hand in hand with the FDA. Americans generally spend billions of dollars on things that they feel will make them feel better and look better. This happens to fall into that, right? Supplements, specialty food, specialty retail. And the issue you have is that when you advertise claims and you don't lose the weight, or you don't feel the way you should, or sleep patterns didn't improve, all the things that we feel these ingredients give us these intended benefits, and a lot of them thankfully have experienced that. The Federal Trade Commission considers that deceptive advertising if you make medical claims or false claims, just because there's just no way 100% of the people are going to feel exactly the same when rubbing this transdermal gel on their skin. The intention of this product is obviously to slow and steady wins the race, and everybody gets there over time. But let the body and let everybody's testimony lead the charge there. You don't need to be concerned with, I know it would be nice, but again, that would go against what protecting all of us as we grow daily is the intention of that. So the FTC and the FDA generally do it to protect us against making false or deceptive claims, if that helps.
Yes, I think it does. What are some things that you think, that we're not supposed to say? Like specifically?
I just think it's as specific as you and I. If I say that I have had certain benefits, and then I go into it and say, well, Emily Jackson has done this, or if I say that in a Facebook Live, or if I say that in a video on YouTube, when I first went after it, on those wonderfully Academy Award winning videos that I've made, sometimes I shave, sometimes I don't. My father, who's my father, he's flesh and blood, I was going to put in there. And thankfully they got a hold of me and they said, you're going to have to omit the part about your father. It's just not your testimony. So it is that specific. And, it's like anything else. It's just once you realize those are the things there in place to protect you, you can clearly still sell this product. You can certainly invite people to the conversation and just talk about yourself in first person, what you've experienced. Okay. And, naturally their curiosity and certainly their interest is going to be, at this, for as little as it is a day to try this, they're going to be willing to do it, or they're going to say, let me take some time and, wait. So it's not going to change the process really.
Right. And I know that we can't use words like cured or things like that. So even when speaking about yourself.
True. but we can use words like Emily Jackson and ambassador because we know that those are true. That is not a false claim. The FTC is not going to get all over us for that.
Okay.
Because it's only if I hand you a tiara and a scepter, that's when they're going to get a little mad because they won't give it to everybody. So the next thing up on your list was going to be a product update, shipping, and the new name. I'll start with the new name first. Everybody's going, what are you naming it Somaderm for?
Right.
And you guys understand that HGH here in the United States is still considered, an illegal substance if it's done by injections or without a prescription, and on the black markets. And everywhere else in the world, that's fine. But, here it carries a stigma because of what's happened, obviously, in recent history. By that, I mean the last 20 years in terms of performance sports. So rather than deal with the stigma of HGH in the name, they basically said, what kind of applies to our product? Soma, it's parts of an organism other than the reproductive cells. It's the body, right? It's relatable. And then dermis from the Greek term skin or hide. So they're just putting those together and trying to think about things in a logical way to say it's going to naturally complement your invitation to better health and friendship when you introduce the product. It should have no whatsoever effect on your process or your success. So with that, we've obviously seen some claims on certain sites about, product shipping. Everybody's waiting to get their Christmas presents or at least be able to continue their trial and get restocked. From what I understand from the company, that shipping is going to start next week. I think you guys are all mindful of the old proverb, promise a little, deliver a lot. Doesn't matter if I tell you exactly the time it's going to start shipping. It's just you will get your product within a reasonable period of time, and it's not going to certainly interrupt your process today, tomorrow, into the time that your product arrives, or you start hearing through the social media sites or through your friends that we in fact have started to receive products. So I do know that they've talked to the manufacturer. They've got successive orders coming in place. They're talking about all sorts of possibilities so that in this soft launch, this is the one time we have to get over this speed bump. So I know they're taking steps to make sure that this doesn't happen ever again, that this was an irregular occurrence. But the best thing I can tell you is that I've been told it's next week. I think Emily heard the same thing. And, you'll have auto ship issues where people will say, well, you know what, I put in an auto ship April 5th and now it's coming May 5th and now I've got my May 5th. Everybody, what I can tell you, and I will let Emily speak to this. I shouldn't say I will ask Emily to speak. I serve at the pleasure of Her Majesty, but I will ask her to speak to this. Since we've started this, our own validation of the products and advocate, and validating it, I've never run out of product. I always ordered more. I realize that's a high-class problem. I could afford to do so. I'm not trying to be in anybody's pocket or tell them what to do from a financial standpoint, but I just said, I feel what I feel, and I never want to run out of this. I always want to be able to put somebody in a bottle today. So my high-class problem is if all of a sudden when I was clicking all those buttons in my back office, I end up with 5 bottles on my doorstep next week, I'm going to know exactly what to do with them. So with that, I'll just let naturally Emily complement that statement.
I think what Kevin's talking about, I've gotten a lot of questions on, okay, if on Monday, Tuesday, my order ships and then my auto ship is set up for May 5th, May 9th, does that mean I'm going to get another bottle shipped to me a week or 2 later? The answer is yes. So when we signed up to be a distributor to go ahead and be active, they didn't charge your card, we just authorized it. So you didn't get your bottle, but you were able to go ahead and act as a distributor, get people signed up, get orders placed. You were able to make money, but you haven't had your bottle. And as you know, to stay active, you have to have 140 points volume in your personal volume. And that is 1 bottle going through your system monthly. So for Kevin and I, so I guess what he was saying was we have never run out of product. I always have a back stock of a bottle no matter what. Because of this situation, there have been people that ran out of product, and I never want to be in that situation. So what I'm suggesting to you is, yes, they are going to be more lenient if you need to call in and push your auto ship out if you want to. I suggest not doing that. I always want to stay active. I always want to make a paycheck every week, and I always want to have an extra bottle. So, you could push out your third bottle a little bit if you don't want to, or if financially it doesn't work out for you. You can always sell that second bottle, sell it for the retail price if somebody doesn't want to sign up, and then move your next auto ship up a little bit. There hasn't been a day that somebody hasn't asked me to just buy a bottle. Anyway, did that cover that? Oh,
I think that's excellent.
We missed one point. Yesterday I posted a post of let's stop emailing Vicky. So
oh, you're right. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Can I wait a minute? I have to give you props for this, and I'm not kidding around. You did mention that to me as Nikki versus Vicky, which I thought was an elegant solution. So please explain to everybody on the call and your adoring fans what Nikki versus Vicky means.
It is all Nikki and no more Vicky. So I posted yesterday for everyone to please email nikki@newulife.com, and that's Nikki, and I'll bump it to the top just so that you can see. Vicky is in charge of so much behind all the operations. She is not just our sitting at the computer. She does a lot up there. And when it was just 300 of us, I think she could handle it. Now it's 8,000 of us. There are 4 customer representatives, and they're all being trained. They're all learning. They're about to move into a new business center. So but we're going to ask that you please email Nikki. And if she doesn't get right back to you, please don't keep emailing her. She will get back to you. They're just covered up with all the back order stuff and everything. And this will be a smooth running machine. This is just part of growing with a new company. And I'd rather be in this at the very beginning with a few bumps than continue on, down the road.
I've heard that before. That's a good one.
You have.
In fairness to you, in fairness to everybody that's on the Facebook Live and that will hear this, it is a source of frustration. Everybody wants things real time.
Right.
And we will continue to complement the service component because we're growing daily, more so than I think anybody thought. And that will certainly be that. Not only is that a priority of the company, it's the lifeline of the company. Mm-hmm. That being said, whatever happens in the short term that we want to get fixed still doesn't get in the way of you having your daily conversations, still having the ability to attract people to this model, still have the ability to invite people to the conversation for better health. So keep track of it. To Emily's point, it's hard to stay patient, but do the best you can and understand that they do have them. The email system does work and that they are receiving them. They're just going through it one by one. They're getting thousands of emails a day now. That's soon to be 10,000s of emails a day, and they're going to continue to grow. And it's still the way everybody on this live session would want it. Let the product lead the charge. Let us grow by leaps and bounds and continue to have the service and the marketing keep pace with the rapid growth. So, with that, do you want me to move on to customers versus distributors? Because that would be really something that I think you have an unbelievable command of. Would you like to take that one?
Well, I had a couple of people ask me, which is the better route to take, and I really say both. I do have an unbelievable customer base, and it does bring me retail volume, but my retail volume is nothing compared to my check matches or anything like that. So I do think you will come across people that just want to try the product and don't push them to be a distributor. Just let them sign up as a customer. And sometimes they'll want to convert, and sometimes they don't. They just want to be on auto ship, and they never want to sell the product. But as far as distributors go, when they start to branch out and they have customers and they have distributors, you're going to get paid a whole lot more money having distributors in the long run than you are customers. But to have both, I would say, is the goal.
It's very well said. Yeah, and you know what? And I think you mentioned it, but just to reiterate, right? Because you have all those customers that once they feel and validate the product the way you feel, they say, hey, Emily, talk to me a little bit more about what is the distribution process.
Right.
And then sometimes they get a little frustrated that they didn't just do it the first time Emily told them.
Right. I do mention it, and I do offer that option because, I think I would be upset if someone didn't to me, and I jumped right in as a distributor not knowing. I mean, it's It's just a little bit more investment in the very beginning, and I think it's fair, but I definitely don't push anyone to do it, you know?
No, but it still worked in that path. So I think number 6, how do we respond to skeptics and no's when, and especially when doctors say no?
Right.
So we all have use of Google, and those that have had repetitions with this and received some of those responses, we do have some material that we can certainly add and complement to the material you have. But I would just say a common sense solution to any product that you're dealing with that somebody says no, you know, and it doesn't happen often with this one. Usually people are interested. It's just their own process that allows them to get to the finish line. I would just simply ask this and say, what do you feel do you know what you're saying no to? You know, I wouldn't necessarily say that to a Western medicine doctor, but I would kind of allude to that and say, here's the bottle. Let me show it to you. Please feel free to research this. My own doctor, when I going to see them next week, I just said, here is the website. Here's what I'm taking. And they said, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to put this on your skin. Right. You know, I don't know what I don't know, but that's usually what doctors say when they haven't researched it. The product had 14 years of trials, but 5 months in the public eye, if you will. And it would be illogical to say most people don't realize what they're saying no to. So for those skeptics and those no's, you can either not spend any time on it and say, you know what, guys, if it's okay, I'll just keep you up with how things are going. And if I can find some information that helps you with your process, I genuinely just want you to feel good. I'll come back to you. And usually by then the business has doubled or tripled, and you know those rates will mature or dissipate, I should say, after a while. But you know, that's the thing with doctors. I think it's a little bit more of a path. They're always going to ask you like, hey, where are the trials? Hey, where's this? Because that's what they're traditionally ingrained in. Going back to the original point on number 2, medical claims, we can't make them. The FTC and the FDA are protecting us. They're also essentially protecting those doctors. So what they're asking for, they know there's not probably an answer to, but they want to be able to research it. So we will put together more of the data that we've found to just help. And then I would just not spend too much time on that. Just put them on the list of you'd like to revisit, because it might just bring you a little satisfaction later when we're at 50,000 distributors by the summer. If that happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and so, even with my own doctor, I see pretty natural doctors. My first doctor was like, no. And I said, well, why? And she said, well, I don't know enough about it. And just with malpractice and everything else, if they tell you to use something they know nothing about, they can't do that. So, you know, the more she researched, the more I sent her information. You know, both my doctors are watching me use it. And I was really low in testosterone, and I don't want to take any sort of supplements there. So this was an alternative for me, and it's working for me. So, you know, we've had lots of people ask different doctors that are in our line, and, you know, we've had several endocrinologists say, great, go for it. I don't think it will work because it's homeopathic. So that's, you know, if it doesn't have a prescription in it, we've come across several doctors that just don't think it will work. For us, it's worked. So I guess, you know, that's been the biggest thing that we've come across. That it is homeopathic, and it's not, you know, I guess HGH itself just has a bad stigma attached to it, and we need to change that. But yes, I would say definitely try Google Scholar, not just Google, because you're going to come up with a whole lot of articles, and Google Scholar is a little bit, Scholar Group, whatever, it's a little bit better.
That is straight from your ambassador, giving you a little educational tip. And you know what time it is, Emily? We spent 19 minutes talking about content, and I, you know, shamelessly spent 2 minutes just lauding praise your way, which is rightful. We should spend more time, but in the efficiency of everybody's Friday afternoon into the weekend, I think you wanted to touch on that we wanted to do a webinar for everybody's potential customers, potential distributors that they want to sponsor, and get them up to speed. And go over certain things. So what sounds good to you? I think you were pointing to Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, probably Tuesday night. And we can update you on a time just to go through everything with everyone.
And there you have it.
Wait, one more thing.
Yes.
And if anyone had
There's
any
one more
questions,
thing.
we forgot to have people post.
Oh, right,
questions.
Q&A. Yes,
Sorry.
we're done with our speaking portion. No,
I'm
that's
not
right.
done. I'm not done. But post your questions really quick while I finish. I've had a few of my distributors not know that they've made coordinator or coach because they didn't know how to look at their volumes. So I need you to go into your back office. I always click on commissions and toggle to the volumes, and it tells me my 5-week rolling period. And you add your personal volume where it says PV to your lesser volume leg. That total, if you're coordinator, it should be greater than 5,000. Both legs need to be 5,000. Coach, 10,000. Life coach, 20,000. Ambassador, 50,000.
Oh, look at her. So graceful, so modest. Doesn't everybody
Humble.
just have a nice cherry tomato to throw right at the screen? How nice.
And
So,
if you're
no,
John
in all honesty,
100,000 for Diamond Ambassador.
Johnny, yes, he now wears a diamond bracelet everywhere he goes. People ask him about it. He goes, oh, you mean this little thing? Yeah, it's because I'm a diamond ambassador.
Please
So.
no. Anyway, so I want to encourage you because I can't get in and look at your volumes. So I don't know if you hit certain levels. So I do encourage you to please look at your volumes and I can go through them with you and walk you through and make sure. Okay. If anybody has any
I will just leave this. Yeah, I would just say for all those that haven't looked in their back office at their volumes, what a nice surprise it must be to look at that and say, wow, I made this rank. I must be really good at this.
Right.
And then you can start to look at your volumes going forward. What a nice surprise that must be. So that is a good suggestion.
Your paycheck will jump up because you're going to start getting paid a whole lot more.
Which always usually seems to make people generally pay attention. But everybody have a great Friday. Emily, again, a sincere congrats. It's such a nice accomplishment. And for all of your team, it's wonderful for them to see that with all that you balance, that you are still achieving these goals. And it has only been less than 4 months. So think of all the things that Emily has in store for her as you guys get going and she continues to coach. It's just a fantastic opportunity. So well done, Emily. That's a great job. That'll keep you happy at least for 24 hours into the weekend. I'm convinced of it.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're
okay,
welcome.
guys. Thank
Have
you
a great
so much.
day, everybody.
Have a good weekend. Okay, bye.
Bye.